My name is Chris Morrow. I'm a senior product manager with Alexa Shopping, and I'm going to very briefly talk to you about, for only 9 minutes and 30 seconds more of your time. This is more like a speed dating introduction to Alexa Shopping and lessons we've learned in books. We're going to cover a brief intro, which we're already 50% done with, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the underpinning technologies. Focus of this talk is business rather than technology, so it's going to be a high-level overview as opposed to a deep dive. We're going to talk of a few conversational use cases. A few use cases were cut to abbreviate this presentation, and then we're going to wrap up. Who the heck is this guy? Why doesn't he have a mustache? This is me. I'm Chris Morrow. I've been at Alexa for 4 years. The mustache is a very recent addition, much to my wife's dismay. And I've taught at the Machine Learning University inside Amazon Machine Learning for Product Managers. And then I also helped create the AI for Everyone course on deeplearning.ai. I love this space, which is why I'm still in it. This is that 50,000-foot view. Concentric circles, artificial intelligence as a broad term. There are lots of deep dives here this week, I'm sorry. Machine learning, deep learning, subsets of artificial intelligence. Where is natural language processing coming? Great question. It is at the intersection of linguistics, AI, machine learning, and deep learning. And this is all you need to know for this presentation, is that at this intersection is where natural language processing is. And we're going to talk about that and natural language understanding only as it applies to the Alexa use cases. Now, here's another 50,000-foot view. When I ask my Alexa to play, for example, some music, that's called a request. My audio goes through the device up to the Alexa service in the cloud, that's where the natural language processing, natural language understanding is going to convert my audio into a request. And the form of that request is going to get matched with the content I requested. That together is going to come back through the Alexa service as a response and come back to me, and then the music plays. And that at a very, again, high level on your captain speaking for 50,000 feet overview of the Alexa service. So everybody here is an Alexa expert now. Excellent. Okay. Here are people who will tell you about shopping with Alexa.
How do I set up voice shopping with Alexa?
Ooh, good question. So whether you're an Amazon Prime member or not, you can totally use your voice to buy groceries or reorder dog food or make a purchase for
A food processor. Alexa, shop for a new food processor.
Amazon's choice is Hamilton Beach Food Processor, 10 cup. It's $44.99. To purchase this one, say buy it now.
Jump on that.
Buy it now.
Nice work. I think you've got the hang of it.
Don't worry, Banjo, I didn't forget about you. Alexa, reorder dog food.
Based on your order history, I found.
Nice work, Pam. Good dog mom. Alexa can also help track Amazon orders or give recommendations. You can even use the Alexa app to add to your list on the go. It's too easy. Alexa, thanks for your help today.
You bet. Anytime.
Now it's your turn. Just say, Alexa, shop for
Kale, bananas, lemongrass, wheatgrass, almond butter, oat milk, cherries, blackberries, blueberries.
Yeah, basically anything on Amazon.
Cantaloupe, watermelon, pineapple, oranges,
Yeah.
peas, lentils.
Any relation also to my wife's weekly shopping list is purely coincidental. It has nothing to do with what was actually recorded. Now, you saw sort of through that video generalized Alexa shopping use cases, things like reorder or shopping for something specific. And my focus has been primarily in the books space. So if I was asking for a specific book or asking for a book recommendation, which are some use cases that we'll talk about more sort of here in a minute. Sort of the three takeaways of things that we've learned in this space is, one, voice is a new modality. So it is a modality that is separate from mobile and is separate from desktop and requires new frameworks in thinking about how we design the voice user interface. And I'll have a link at the end where you can sort of dive into some of the case studies and some of the design work that's been done here. But then also that voice as a new modality presents adoption friction to the customer because they have to learn how to use it. And there's some barriers there, which in its own form reduces the sort of perceived customer value. Well, how do you offset that? Through convenience, and customers value convenience is kind of a, yes, Chris, no kidding. What I've found, what my experience has been over the past 18 months is that offsetting that friction, that adoption friction with convenient use cases is what offsets that difference in customer value. And then while there are simple experiences, they're challenging trade-offs that, from a business perspective, what the trade-off decisions that can be made are around what customer input am I going to handle, and what will I not, and what is the risk of me not handling customer input. That's the trade-off that we sort of wicker through, basically, or that I wicker through daily. So let's, and I'm going to come back to that through some of these use cases, touch back on these very briefly. What I'm going to do in terms of use cases, we're going to talk through the funnel. Unfortunately, post-purchase, given the time constraints, post-purchase was deprioritized, put into the backlog. Don't worry, it'll ship sometime 2025. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's my own personal sorrow. We'll talk about pre-purchase now. So there I am. I'm a busy product manager, and I just finished a book, the one book I read in a year because I'm so busy. But now I want to find my next book, and I could ask friends, but why bother? So I'm going to ask Alexa instead. Alexa, what should I read next?
One moment while I find a selection of books for you based on your reading history. Here's a fiction book about family life you might like. The Candid Life of Meena Dave by Namrata Patel. It's 1 credit on Audible. Try saying things like, here a summary, get ratings, or next recommendation.
So touching back to the things, and maybe I'll hold on, here it comes.
One moment while I find a selection of books for you based on your reading history. Here's a fiction book about family life you might like. The Candid Life of Meena Dave by Namrata Patel. It's 1 credit on Audible. Try saying things like, here a summary, get ratings, or next recommendation.
So in thinking about the 3 things that we learned in that voice presentation, I've asked for a discovery experience. I want to know, hey, what's a recommendation for what I should read next? Out of the, ocean of possibilities, what's one book that I should read next? Well, what the response contains is first a VUI element, a voice user interface element. 1 moment, please. That's covering that. What that is addressing is the latency for us going to get a recommendation. Then what we present is the reason for the recommendation based on your reading history or my wife's reading history, but that's neither here nor there. I always get my wife's recommendations because, she does most of the reading through Amazon. Don't let them have access to it. And then the next thing is the actual book title and then a price. And in this case, what has happened is that it's looked at the way that I consume books. Notices that I consume more audiobooks than other bindings. And so it's presenting an audiobook combined with the fact that I'm a Audible subscriber, so I have a credit. So I can acquire this book for free. And that's the recommendation of the book title as well as the binding for acquisition. So, and the other thing is that this is a discovery. It's a discovery experience. And so the option was presented. If you'd like to learn more, here a sample, or to buy, you can say, not a direct, would you like to buy it? Subtle difference, but those are the small things that make the difference and why voice is a different type of interface. So let's talk a little bit about purchase. In my time-constrained state, hey, the book's free. It sounds interesting. So I say, get the book.
Let me take care of that for you. The Candid Life of Meena Dave by Namrata Patel. The audiobook is 1 credit from Audible. Would you like to buy it?
Yes. Duh.
Just a moment while I complete your purchase. I've added this book to your library. To start listening, say, Alexa, read The Candid Life of Mina Dave.
So here you can start to see some of what is happening. So, just a moment. Why? Because there's some latency there, and we don't want the customer to think that the device is no longer responding. Then it moves into a restatement of the title, the binding, and the price. Now, why restate that? I've said, get the book. That should be an explicit signal for acquisition. Well, because it's a new type of interface, earning customer trust is more important than direct conversion. And so restating it and saying, even though I've said get the book, restating what I'm about to purchase and then verbally confirming, would you like to get it? To which I say yes. Earns more customer trust versus the conversion point. And then finally, what it said, I respond yes. It very kindly puts it into my library and then offers me an opportunity to engage with the content right then. I can listen to that book starting immediately through my device. And if I start listening on my device, I can then take it into the mobile app and it'll resume at the same place. All sort of key points of value on that customer's value, convenience, sort of value chain. So 3 takeaways. This has been very brief. Natural language understanding and processing, enabling new ways to shop, conversational commerce. Voice, we very briefly talked about, but is a new modality and should be treated as such. And today, customers can use Alexa to reorder, browse, and or buy on Amazon, among many, many other use cases. This is a link that can take you to, I alluded it to you earlier. It will take you to, you can deep dive into additional white papers and studies. Thank you very much. I'm Chris Morrow. You've been a fantastic audience.